In this tutorial, you are going to learn how to customize Windows 8 for ease of use, personalization, and basic accessibility functions to make it more user-friendly. Before we begin, I'd like to discuss a few basic vocabulary terms that may be new to you. Knowing these terms will help you better understand this tutorial and further your understanding of the computer in general. A window is the term used to describe the container that holds the content of what a computer user is currently viewing. A window can be moved around, stacked on top of other windows, closed, resized, and minimized to what we call the taskbar. The taskbar is at the very bottom of every user's computer screen. It allows users to open applications, navigate to other applications, and access what we call the Start menu. The Start menu can be found in the lower left of the screen, and in Windows 8 looks like 4 squares. You can use the Start menu to access most parts of your computer. In this tutorial, we will be right-clicking on your Start menu to get to your control panel. Your mouse has 2 buttons, one on the left and then one on the right. The left button just selects an item, while the right button brings up another menu to show more options that may be hidden. Your control panel is your computer's central administrative area for making system-wide changes like the size of your mouse, display options, removing programs, and much more. Drop-down menus are usually indicated by a downward-facing arrow. Clicking on a drop-down menu can take a user to a list of options to choose from, like what state you live in, pricing options, or website navigation menus. Finally, let's talk about icons. Icons are graphic representations of an application or a function. The user clicks or double-clicks on an icon to open the program in question and is taken to the program. Now let's talk about what we're going to learn in this tutorial. First, we're going to cover personalizing your desktop image. You're going to see when you start up Windows, Windows gives you a standard default desktop background, but we're going to be able to change that either using images of our own or images that Windows 8 gives us stock within the program. We're also going to be able to change our color options, changing into a variety of different colors, changing our menus and our title bars. We're going to be able to also change the size of objects for better viewing. And those objects could be icons, icon text, menus, and title bars. It can also be working with mouse options within our control panel. So we're going to go into our control panel and then be able to change the mouse cursor size as well as modify several different mouse click options. We are currently at our computer's desktop. First thing we're going to do is customize our desktop to make it look how we want to look using some of Windows basic stock images and possibly even some of the images on our computer. So you can see my mouse here, and the first thing I'm going to do is simply right click on my mouse, and you're going to see I get a menu. I'm going to choose the personalize option. And from here you get taken to a window within your control panel. And you can see here at the top of the window it says personalization. And beneath that, you can see here, it tells me I'm in my control panel within a section called Appearances and Personalization within Personalization. Now, you'll notice I have different sections within this window that I can go to for a variety of different things. So you'll notice here I have my Windows default theme, lines and colors, flowers, but I also have here something called my desktop background. You'll also notice that when I move my mouse over it, my cursor turns from an arrow to a hand. So I'm going to click on that because I'd like to customize my desktop background. So you'll see here it says my picture location where things are going to be chosen from is my Windows desktop backgrounds, and you'll see here I have a drop-down menu that allows me to go to my Windows desktop backgrounds, my picture library, top rated photos, solid colors. So currently you'll notice this one has a check mark next to it and is reflecting what's currently on my desktop. So I can add to these if I like to, or I can just say, you know what, let's actually just make this one my desktop background. And notice how this changes. Now what I'd like to do is actually make it so it's going to be maybe 3 or 4 of these. Now you'll notice over here at the bottom it says, okay, I could also make this change every 30 minutes, okay, or every 10 seconds, whatever you'd like to do. and you can shuffle them and whatever you'd like to do as well. And the same option goes for any of these other options you've chosen here. So I'm going to go ahead and now say Save Changes, and you'll see I'm back to where I was within my control panel. And if I move my window by just dragging from the top, you'll be able to see the entire full screen of the desktop right beneath it. Now, let's continue on with some of our customization options. Let's now go over here to Display on the left-hand side. Now, I might want to make some options on my screen bigger. I might want to make some of the text a little bit larger, etc., etc. Now, you'll notice here it says change the size of all items. I also have here it says let me choose one scaling level for all my displays. So let's go ahead and experiment with this. When I click on this, you'll notice things get changed a little bit. So currently, by default, you'll see Windows 8 puts it at a smaller option of 100%. I could also make this bigger at 125% if I like to, but even better, I could go to my custom sizing options. And you'll notice here, I could actually choose from a number of different percentage zoom levels. So it could actually get bigger and bigger and bigger. And now you'll also notice that as I make the change, it's going to give me a preview of what things are going to look like. Okay, so I can go ahead and change this to 150%. It's going to get bigger. Okay, and then once I actually hit apply and I restart, you'll actually see some changes. Now let me go ahead and uncheck this. And I'm going to come down to this part here where it says, instead of changing the size of everything on the desktop, change only the text size for a specific item. All right, so let's just say, for example, I can't necessarily see my icon text very well. So if you click on the drop-down menu, you'll notice here I have all these different options that I could actually customize at this point. My title bar, my menu options, all kinds of different things. And I'm just going to go ahead and now change my icons. And I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger to 10 points. And I'm going to bold it. And you'll see as soon as I hit apply, it actually gets bigger. Okay, I'll do that again in case you missed it. Let's make that to 12. And you see it gets even bigger. So they make it nice and easy for you to make customizations and make changes however you like using the personalization section within the control panel. Let's now go back, and we can go back by hitting this back button. Okay, and what we're going to do now is just change the colors. So you can see here I can change it to a variety of different colors, and when I click on that, notice how my menu changes to reflect the color that I've chosen. So I'm going to choose maybe this green color. I'm going to say Save Changes, and then I can then finish from here. Now, what I'm going to do now is close this window, and I'm going to go to another part of my control panel, but I'm going to go maybe in a different way. So I'm going to go over here, click on this X, and I can close that. But also notice that Windows gives me some tooltips to tell me what I can do when I click on that button. I can close, I can maximize, or I can minimize, which is going to take me down to my taskbar while keeping the window open, okay, but not necessarily closing it. But I'm going to close it for now, and that's gone. Now what I'd like to do is actually work with changing my cursor size. Right now my mouse arrow is about this size, but I'm going to change that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to the lower left here where my start menu is, right click on it, and I'm going to choose Control Panel. Now this is what the control panel looks like, and recall the control panel is your administrative center for making all kinds of system-wide changes within your computer. So I'd like to actually change the way things are viewed here, where I'm going to change the view from category to large icons first of all, because that way everything is flushed out in its own individual category. So I'm going to do two things within my control panel. The first is I'm going to adjust the mouse settings and do quite a few of them here. So notice everything's in alphabetical order. I'm going to click on mouse. And you'll notice here I have a number of different tabs that I can correspond to my mouse. So notice here you have the double click speed. Okay, sometimes you're required to double click. So what I could do is actually make it so, you know what, it's a little bit hard for me to double click, so I can just click and drag on my mouse and make it a little bit easier for me when I double click that the computer's a little more patient. And they give me this icon here for to be able to test it out. So when I click once and I click again, okay, notice how it opens up when I do that. Okay, if I make it faster, then it's going to be a little bit harder to do that. Okay, so if I do real slow, see that I can do that. So I'm just going to bring this a little moderately slower from here. Now let's go now to our pointers. And this is what's known as our pointer, this arrow. Now I might want to make it so it's going to be a little bit bigger, therefore easier for me to see. So this is a current preview of what I have. So if I click on this drop-down menu, you'll see I have a number of different options for me to work with. Right? I can make it black and extra large. I can make it I can do the default and extra large. I can do all these different things here. So I'm just going to go ahead and say Windows Standard Extra Large, and you'll notice that the preview now goes probably about 3 times the size. And I like that. So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to hit Apply, and then notice my cursor is then changed. I could also say Enable Pointer Arrow, a pointer shadow, and then I get a little bit of a shadow on there, again possibly making it easier to see for you. So you may want to experiment with some of these to see which one is best for you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK for now. I'm satisfied with that. And then the last option I'm going to do here is under my folder options. And I'm going here so I can actually adjust it so everything that I click on only requires it to be just a single click. I don't have to worry about double clicking or single click. What do I do every single time? This is going to be very important so you know exactly what to do, because mostly every time it's going to be a single click. So I'm going to click on this, and it says single click to open an item, point to select. Very good. And I'm just going to click OK, and then you'll notice that whenever I move my mouse over any of these icons, it's ready to go. It looks like a link, and I can go ahead and click on it, and then if I open up, let's just say my recycle bin, that's just a single click, and then it should open up. I don't have to worry about single clicking or double clicking. So this is just a quick introduction how to customize things on your computer within Windows 8, adjusting the mouse size, customizing your Windows desktop background, adjusting the font size of your icons and other elements within Windows, accessing your control panel. In the next tutorial, we will talk about more customization options and more accessibility features.